Several residential estimating programs exist to aid in project bidding. Buildertrend is comprehensive construction management software that includes estimating capabilities. Sage Estimating is industry-leading estimating software specifically designed for contractors. RSMeans provides cost data and estimating tools suitable for residential construction projects. Home Tech Estimator is simple and user-friendly estimating software tailored for residential projects. Easy Estimate is cloud-based estimating software with a focus on simplicity and accuracy. When estimating residential projects, there are several tips to consider. Firstly, it's crucial to gather accurate information. This involves asking detailed questions to gather all necessary information about the project, including the scope of work, the materials required, and adherence to local building codes. Secondly, you need to use current pricing data. Make sure that the pricing you incorporate into your estimates is up to date and accurately reflects the current market rates for both materials and labor. Thirdly, you should account for contingencies. Allocate a percentage of your estimate to cover unexpected expenses or potential delays that may arise during the project. Fourthly, consider labor costs carefully. Factor in the estimated labor hours required for the project and the corresponding labor rates, taking into account the skill levels and experience needed for the various tasks. Fifthly, provide clear communication. Explain to your clients that your initial estimate is subject to change based on factors such as unforeseen conditions discovered during the project or revisions to the scope of work requested by the client. Let's look at specific examples. For a Federal Pacific panel change, use historical cost data from similar projects or consult with a licensed electrician to estimate the materials and labor required for the replacement. For a two-story addition bid, utilize construction cost per square foot data relevant to your region or consult with an architect to estimate the cost of materials, labor, and necessary permits. When estimating a service upgrade from 100 amps to 200 amps, refer to historical cost data from previous service upgrade projects or consult with a licensed electrician to estimate the materials, labor, and any associated fees. For raising a service, again, utilize historical cost data or consult with a licensed electrician to accurately estimate the materials and labor required for the service relocation. Here are additional tips to help you succeed. Firstly, network with other contractors in your area to gather information on pricing trends and industry best practices. Sharing insights and experiences can provide valuable knowledge for improving your estimating accuracy. Secondly, attend industry events and seminars to stay updated on the latest trends, technologies, and regulatory changes that could impact your estimating processes. Thirdly, consider joining a professional organization such as the National Electrical Contractors Association, or NECA, for access to valuable resources, training programs, and support networks within the electrical contracting industry. These resources can help you stay informed, improve your skills, and enhance your overall business operations. To further elaborate on the estimating process, consider these additional points. When gathering accurate information, don't rely solely on the initial project description. Conduct a thorough site visit to assess the existing conditions and identify any potential challenges or unforeseen obstacles that could impact the project's cost and timeline. Take detailed notes, measurements, and photographs to document the site conditions accurately. When using current pricing data, be aware that material costs can fluctuate due to market conditions, supply chain disruptions, and other factors. Regularly update your pricing information to reflect the latest market rates, and consider locking in prices with suppliers when possible to mitigate the risk of cost increases. When accounting for contingencies, the appropriate percentage to allocate will vary depending on the complexity and scope of the project. A general rule of thumb is to allocate at least 5% to 10% for contingencies, but this may need to be increased for projects with a higher degree of uncertainty or potential risk. When considering labor costs, factor in not only the hourly rates of your employees but also any associated costs such as payroll, taxes, insurance, benefits, and workers' compensation. Also, consider the time required for tasks such as travel to and from the job site, setup and cleanup, and breaks. When providing clear communication, be proactive in keeping your clients informed of any changes to the estimate or project timeline. Provide regular updates on the project's progress and be transparent about any issues that may arise. Document all changes to the scope of work in writing and obtain the client's approval before proceeding with any additional work. In the context of Federal Pacific panel changes, it's essential to be aware of the potential safety hazards associated with these panels. Federal Pacific Electric, or FPE, panels have been found to have a higher risk of failure than other types of electrical panels, and replacing them is often recommended to prevent electrical fires or other hazards. When estimating the cost of a panel change, factor in the cost of disconnecting and removing the old panel, installing a new panel that meets current safety standards, and testing the new panel to ensure that it is functioning properly. For two-story addition bids, consider factors such as the complexity of the design, the type of foundation required, and the availability of access to the site. Obtain detailed architectural plans and specifications to accurately estimate the cost of materials, labor, and any necessary permits. Also, factor in the cost of any site preparation work, such as clearing vegetation, grading, or excavating. When estimating a service upgrade from 100 amps to 200 amps, determine the existing electrical load of the building and calculate the additional load that will be required to support the upgrade. This will help you determine the appropriate size of the new service panel, conductors, and overcurrent protection devices. Also, check with the local utility company to determine if any upgrades to the service entrance or transformer are required. For raising a service, consider factors such as the location of the existing service entrance, the height of the new service entrance, and any obstructions that may need to be avoided. Ensure that the new service entrance meets all applicable code requirements, and obtain any necessary permits before starting work. Remember to always prioritize safety when working with electrical systems. Follow all applicable safety regulations and wear appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, such as gloves, eye protection, and arc-rated clothing. If you are not comfortable working with electrical systems, hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. It's also important to stay up to date on the latest code requirements and industry standards. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is updated every 3 years, and it contains important information on the safe installation and maintenance of electrical systems. Consider attending continuing education courses or workshops to stay informed of the latest changes to the code. In addition to the estimating programs mentioned earlier, there are also a number of online resources that can help you with estimating residential projects. Websites such as Craftsman Book Company and Remodel MAX offer cost data and estimating tools for various types of construction projects. There are also a number of online forums and communities where contractors can share information and ask questions about estimating. When using online resources, be sure to verify the accuracy of the information before using it in your estimates. Another important aspect of estimating is to accurately track your actual costs versus your estimated costs. This will help you identify areas where you are consistently underestimating or overestimating, and it will allow you to refine your estimating processes over time. Use a job costing system to track all of your expenses, including materials, labor, subcontractors, and overhead. Compare your actual costs to your estimated costs on a regular basis, and investigate any significant variances. By tracking your costs and analyzing your estimating performance, you can improve the accuracy of your estimates and increase your profitability. Also, consider the impact of inflation on your estimates. Material costs and labor rates are constantly changing, and it's important to factor in these changes when preparing your estimates. Use historical data and industry forecasts to project future cost increases and adjust your estimates accordingly. It's also a good idea to include an escalation clause in your contracts to protect yourself from unexpected cost increases. An escalation clause allows you to adjust the contract price if material costs or labor rates increase by a certain percentage. This can help you avoid losing money on a project due to inflation. Finally, remember that estimating is not an exact science. There will always be some degree of uncertainty involved, and it's important to be prepared for the unexpected. By following these tips and continuously refining your estimating processes, you can improve the accuracy of your estimates and increase your chances of success.